we talking about today?
It looks like the head of state has been irritated by his communications team. He has decided to engage a PR firm.
What's the name of the PR?
PR Gina Din Kariuki. It's a Kenyan. Yeah, but she's huge. She's big. But the president feels like these guys, his people, are not channeling information very well to the citizens. So these guys don't have they don't have the means to say, we are going wrong because of this and that. We are back again. I'm getting tired of introducing us because I'm sure by now you know who we are. But for the sake of peace, I just want to say my lovely friend Malama, my very sober friend, she took a huge, like a mountain cup of coffee today. So she's gonna be strangely polite.
Never.
Malama.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good.
Back to Zed101 as usual every Saturday?
Right.
Yes.
Saturday, 9 a.m.
Or depending on who comes on time.
Well, Dale was on time. You, I don't know. You're never on time.
I was delayed.
I don't care. You're never on time. Did you fix your cars?
One of them.
Okay.
This one.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The other one, I'm waiting for the part to be flown
parts.
in. Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, something interesting has happened. But before we get into that, following the numerous text messages and photos you sent to me, how was your weekend?
Oh my God, I had such great margaritas last night. Granddaddy's margaritas. I mean, it could do with a tiny more tequila, but it went down.
When just
Wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Right. No, and you know, funnily enough, I just ordered one and I was ready to be like, can you bring two? But I think they had an offer on, so he brought two. I was like, this man knows me very
festive
well.
season offer.
Might have been something
The
like
more you
that.
get high, the more money they make.
The more they make, right?
Yes.
But I actually went for Nshima.
Okay.
So it was actually a friend's 40th.
Oh, good.
And so we were like on the tequila and the wine from 5 o'clock. And then we went to eat last night. What time did I send you the photo? Like 10-ish?
Yeah.
I was like, guys, are they still serving Nshima at this time? But it went down.
Good.
It was good.
What did you have?
I'm even hungry right now.
Your pork?
No, I actually had steak. I had steak.
You know you're on pork.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay,
No,
that's cool.
pork with chips. I don't like Nshima and pork.
Okay.
For me, they don't go.
Ufa pork with chips and Nshima
Pork with chips and then Nshima with
beef.
steak.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And chicken I rarely eat. I don't eat chicken.
What else happened during the week? How was work? How did it go?
I hope my boss does not watch this, but I hardly worked this week. I was just like, fuck this shit. I was actually working from the Agora offices this week, so Africa Works.
Yeah.
Give them a little plug, you know. Yeah, so I was at Agora for the Africa Works offices there, so I was there. And yeah, just, it's a really nice space. Have you been?
No.
You should go. It's a really nice space. You feel very professional. They've got these amazing paintings. I think they must have commissioned the artist there.
Okay.
But they were amazing artwork there.
Okay.
And you feel like you're a proper professional when you're there.
Like you make money.
Like you make real money. Not these two smoke watchers that are coming through.
No. Heavy money.
If I'm here, I must be making some good money, you know?
It's good.
And then we sat on the balcony, had tequila. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it's worth going to Africa Works. Check it out.
Okay. Now, Monfa, tequila while they're working. What else?
After 5. It was after 5.
We shall retract that. She only
Exactly.
drinks after 5.
Oh, no, that's not entirely true, but... in this
Kabili,
case...
the boss is not watching this.
No, I'm a remote worker.
There you go.
So...
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything interesting you'd like us to get into, or you want me to ruffle the feathers?
You dive us into this conversation. What are we talking about today?
So, the head of state.
Who has irritated you?
No, it looks like the head of state has been irritated by his communications team. So whether it's a real irritation or he thinks that they can do better remains to be seen. He has decided to engage a PR firm to come and probably boost the way.
What's the name of the PR
firm? I'll come there. Gina Din
Yeah.
Kariuki, it's a Kenyan name. Yeah, but she's huge. She's big, and she knows her stuff.
She's been in the PR game
Yeah.
like 30 years.
Yeah.
A long time.
And she's worked with big companies.
Big companies.
And I think other
big
countries
South
as
African.
well. Yes.
Yeah. Is it Safari Con or whatever? That was one of
Yeah.
their huge contracts.
Very, very much so. So the president thought, through advice from his advisors, that maybe we need a push. So why don't you get this woman and
Why would they need a push?
Because the president feels like these guys, his people, his ministers, his MPs, and it trickles down, are not channeling information very well to the citizens. He thinks that whatever work they are doing is not being appreciated by the people, and he wants a wider flow of information regarding the projects they've done, their achievements, and how things are going to go in future. He wants to engage because he thinks while they are busy sleeping or doing their work at the pace that normally is done by civil servants, the opposition or the guys on the other side are busy churning out information which is countering what the government is doing. Yes. So he figured this firm can come and help. What do you think?
Did you want to zone into the comparisons first? Because I have a lot of opinions on this.
So I'll tell you something actually. Let me check it out. And it's quite interesting what I'm going to say to you. The president has got the following key personnel in government working for him. Government's key communications team. 1, the chief government spokesperson, Minister of Information and Media. Number 2, the director and spokesperson to the Minister of Information. Number 3, the permanent secretary in the same Ministry of Information. Number 4, the communication specialist in State House. Number 5, these are communication specialists.
They're communicating just amongst themselves, guys?
Specialists.
They're specializing.
Specialists.
Okay.
Then they've got State House Chief Communication Strategist. Okay. So State House has got State House Communications Specialist and then State House Chief Communication Strategist. And number 6 and 7 are Presidential Delivery Unit and Deputy Head, respectively. So he has 7 people in key government positions to channel information to the public about their activities, their projects, and their achievements. And clearly, for him to call for this meeting and hiring this large PR firm, he feels they're not channeling information very well. So, they had one meeting. He called a meeting, and all the government functionaries were invited, ministers, the way it works, MPs, whoever is involved, they booked some place, probably Mongushi or whatever it was, and the speeches flowed, as usual.
The justifying of their roles?
Yeah. Well, the thing with government is that when you're going to make a speech and the president is there, the first thing you need to do is praise him.
Yeah.
Because he's your president and he's
so
your
what?
boss.
And so what?
So these guys don't have they don't have the means, the ways to actually say, we are going wrong because of this and that.
Well, they have to justify their jobs.
So on the flip side, certain quarters of the public have said, why did they need to bring in this professional? I'm not saying that they were wrong to bring this person or they were right, but some Zambians who are thinking they can do the job are saying that we should have been engaged.
You could have hired internally.
Yeah, you could have hired internally, and then you could have, if you wanted, the ones who are going to involve whoever from outside, because you've given us a budget, we've told you this is what we need to complete this task. These are the kinds of resource persons we're going to bring in. So they were not really happy that the GDDC group was hired. I don't know what input you have on that.
So I think it's, okay, it's twofold, right?
Yeah.
On the one hand, I think he's right to hire an external team because we no longer operate in the 1964 strategies of inside, I was going to say White House, inside State House, you have the role, like it must be a minister of this or a minister of that, or, minister of communications, right? The role as a minister is more around the policy side of things, but the actual doing of PR and marketing should be handled by an external company. So, for example, in South Africa, they have a huge marketing PR team that works globally. The reason, do you remember when we showed that clip of Blair Underwood saying, I went to the Victoria Falls and it's between Zimbabwe and South Africa? The reason he said that is because South Africa has marketed relentlessly. When they do their trips, you go via Victoria Falls, which is in South Africa. They have made people believe Victoria Falls is in South Africa. Now, if you're on a plane, you don't know any different, right? So, and then when was it? It was just pre-COVID. I remember reading something about South Africa's budget. They have £1 million budget to spend in the UK advertising South Africa. What do we have?
We have the Zambia Daily Mail. We have the Times of Zambia.
But
we
that's
have
all
ZNBC,
internal.
And we have Zanis.
That's all internal, and it's very much the old-fashioned machine, right? Back in the day, independence, we had one TV channel, remember?
Yep.
You had one TV channel. You had maybe like 3 radio stations. We didn't have a lot of radio stations.
I think the first private one was probably 1996.
Right.
There could have been one just before Phoenix, but I think Phoenix is the torchbearer.
Right.
I think so, but there could have been one just before that.
So once you stop having a government mouthpiece, government also needs to realize if they want to manage their image and their brand, they have to use external companies to do that.
Okay. I want to say something to you, and it's going to be nice.
Oh.
You've noticed how...
That's the first.
You've noticed how I'm always nice to you. What's wrong with you?
Carry on.
You want me to go local on you?
Oh, please.
Then somebody on TikTok is going to quote me. So it's dramatized. They always say it's dramatized, but even in real life, what I think, I'm not really sure, but I know for us, I think I can bet 90% is, I feel the government needs a proper directorate in State House, a communications directorate.
But that's already what they have.
They don't have that.
It's the same thing. They just haven't set it up in the way that you're envisioning it. But what I'm saying is if it stays internal, it won't go any further. Remember what people used to say about HH, that he was a bit of a micromanager when he first came in? It was his way or no way. Now, if you are constricting your team to if you are the most intelligent person in the room,
then
you need to leave the room.
Look out.
Right? And he is the most intelligent person, because he's the person of power, at State House.
In every room he goes to.
Well,
Let's
in
keep it at
Zambia.
Well, the difference is...
In Zambia.
Maybe when...
Even Steve Harvey did not give him the honor. Even Steve was like, Ava.
Steven.
Eva president.
No,
Don't you know me? I'm famous.
I'm sorry, that was embarrassing, and we're not going to go into it.
No, we're not, because we did
messed
already.
it up. What I wanted to say is that the problem is not the fact that they don't have a proper directorate there. The problem has been the people he selected to run those portfolios.
And that's still the same point.
Yeah.
If you are the most intelligent person, he has picked what he knew, but all of that is beneath or below his level.
Not what he knew, what he liked. Who he liked, who he wanted.
I don't know why he picked who he
Yeah, because these are
picked.
people he suffered with. That's why he picked them.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's not that you have, it's not about picking. When all of these political parties, when you're in power, me, I'll be this position, right?
I hear you.
And it was the same even with the ANC. All of the guys who have been president within the ANC, it was before they won, it was when you win, you get to do 2 terms and then I get to come in. That handover of power wasn't because, oh, as of this day and age, we believe that you're the right person to lead. They'd already decided, which was the problem that they had. Zuma was like, I also want to be in power. I fought for independence. I also want to be in power. So the way that they divided their roles, it's not because of their experience. It's because they were involved in the movement towards the elections. Talking back to HH now, because there was no liberation.
Yeah.
If when we are in power, these are the positions. But that's all these politicians do it for, Chanda.
What?
These politicians do not come into politics to help the people. They come to help themselves. When I'm in power, this is the job I want.
So here's the thing.
Can I do the job?
Well, I don't know, but you do the job anyway. You have the position, the portfolio to walk around with. He's the what of what.
Exactly.
The difference is the other people he gave as an example, the South Africans, recognized that they need to spread, all right, their efforts, isn't it?
Correct.
And for that to work, they need to engage professionals.
South Africa has sold itself to the world, right? It doesn't market internally. The reason South Africa has the highest tourism, the way everyone thinks, if they think of Africa, they think of primarily two places. What are they?
Nigeria and South Africa.
Right. And that's the marketing that they have done. Nowhere else in Africa, in a sense of like doesn't exist, because those two have done the hardest work. Us, we're sitting here just waiting for the Mzungus to show up at our door. But we have to tell them what they're coming here for. And let's actually focus back on the point you said about the presidency and his achievements to date, right? There was a period I felt like I can see they're doing things, but it's very quiet. But if you know how to dig for the information, you'll find out they've done this, they've done this, they've done this. Most of the time, I get that information from foreign news. Oh, is that what HH has done? Mm-hmm. But locally, they're busy talking about HH has visited the local shani, but that's the news that they're putting on Zanis, right? That's where this information goes.
Yeah, ZNBC.
Let's just not everybody necessarily knows what Zanis is. Can you explain it?
It's a Zambia National Information Service.
Right.
They gather information around the country.
They don't gather. Information is submitted to them.
No, hold on. They are all over. They are present in more places than ZNBC. So a lot of footage that ZNBC uses is
got from them. That's
Zambia.
what I'm saying.
Yes.
So information goes to Zanis, and then Zanis distributes, or people have access to Zanis, and then that's where they get their news from. This is one of the problems that. Remember that time when I was talking about doing a business newspaper?
Yeah.
Because I felt there is no business news. Business news is not HH has opened a solar power plant. HH has gone to a recycling plant. HH is opening the market of Shanshan. Like, that's not business news. Business news is company X has come to Zambia and they're investing 6 billion in this and this and this.
Business news was the president is addressing Steve Harvey. Stephen Harvey.
I despair.
Bayama. No, but getting back to the issue of internalizing stuff.
But you see the point I'm trying to make. If the main source of information has weak information, if Zanis's information is pithy and pathetic, well, how else is the Times going to cover good information? How else is radio stations going to cover information? That's why radio certainly becomes more reliant on the salacious news. That's what you start talking about, right?
Yeah. I just want to contrast what you've just said with what happens in SA. In SA, there's a coalition government, all right? Others are not happy when you say it's a government of national unity. So there's a government made up of many parties. But one of the bigger parties in that group is a DA. And the DA ministers are making sure...
doing work.
It's not that the other guys are not doing work, but it's coming to your point. No. Whatever they do,
it's known.
You all need to know that we did this.
But that's why I said they're doing work.
Yes, on top of that...
The difference with Zambia is... This is part of the problem I have with Zambia, right?
Communication-wise?
Huh?
Communication.
No, in general. Like someone will say, I want to do X, Y, Z. Okay. 1 year later, no, I want to do X, Y. Oh, you mean you haven't done anything? Wanting is not doing. The problem in Zambia, it's like you're waiting for someone to come and do the thing for you before it gets done.
Okay.
But in the UK, for example, you say to yourself, I've got 30 days to kick off this business. Each week, this is the activity I'll be doing to kick off the business. By day 90, I will have had my first £10,000. Here in Zambia, you're like, I'm a CEO. Of what? Of nothing. You haven't done anything.
It's on paper, I'm CEO.
But that's the point.
Yes.
You're not a CEO because it's on paper. You're a CEO because you've done something.
No, but even the term CEO is used loosely in Zambia. You know this.
Dude, please.
All right?
It's my pet peeve.
Yes, in Gashala Neka Limited, I'm a CEO.
Tinkashala Limited.
Yeah.
I like that.
Gashala, I mean, I'll be a bloody CEO. Who is the boss? We have the boss mentality. You don't do anything here. A lot of businesses are failing because of that CEO mentality.
That's a really good point.
You go with a checkbook to your house. You can't even leave it in your company. You can't even follow proper procedures. But before we go too far out, the communication plan we have is very political.
Yes.
That is the other reason.
And in the old days, it was called propaganda.
Yes.
Right? We want to make sure the people believe we're doing a good job.
In fact, let me play that so that you know that that's where the president was heading. It was like the other people are doing things that we can't do. It's not my clip, it's not your clip, but somebody definitely filmed it.
Demonstrators are storytellers of government achievements.
Yeah.
They are here to learn, among other things, how to take messages of hope, change, and development direct to the citizens. President Hakainde Hichilema graced the event with a call for ministers and permanent secretaries to spread government's achievements.
So the definition of work must be on deliverables. Once we've got those deliverables, we talk about them. We share with them on the platforms, whatever platforms. And I was whispering to her, one of the dangers we have is the amount of falsehoods through social media that are churned out throughout the night and day. That if we are not careful, our own message will be drowned out completely. And falsehoods will take center stage. So we set up the Presidential Delivery Unit to support ourselves to deliver. But I think using that delivery based on the hymn sheet, our manifesto, our commitment to the people, then we can communicate. Where we have challenges, we say so. Work in progress. It's not a problem.
President Hichilema also highlighted some of government's calls in the last 3 years.
Teachers will be employed, nurses.
Yeah. So he's trying to talk about the actual channeling information through all platforms available. And he clearly knows that whenever government is sleeping or trying to, through bureaucratic processes of government, trying to wait for someone to sign off on a press release or something, the other team, the other guys are ready. They will be curtailed because they won't go to mainstream legacy media. So they're going to TikTok, they're going to YouTube and Facebook and whatnot, which government cannot control. Hence the reason to bring in this person to see if they can, you know, boost the way they can communicate. Do you think it's going to change, having known our mentality?
The problem is you can't be bureaucratic and expect to work in a world that doesn't do bureaucracy. So if you're going to sit there and sign off every little post that needs to get done, you'll never get anything done.
The example is missing here is that it was the same thing that messed up the Kamala Harris campaign. Because word is out now that they needed to sign off on a tweet. You know, any post, the guys need to sign off. So while they were waiting, Donald Trump was on Joe Rogan talking.
Exactly.
While they were waiting, he was on Carlson.
Yeah, with Harris on Joe Rogan, there were too many stipulations. Joe is like, look, Joe was like, you need to come to me, right?
Yeah.
The problem is if they, oops, disaster. Out there. But it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
I know, he's doing it to someone today. So what was I saying? Oh, the problem was that they was sort of stipulating too many conditions. Joe Rogan is you come, you chat. We chat for God knows how long.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
They were like, she'll be there for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
I know, you're coming here for an hour.
Yes, you're coming here for an hour. You'll have to fly out and do it. So, and you can't have everything under your terms.
No.
One of the reasons that it actually personalized Trump a lot more because he got to just have an informal conversation with him. It wasn't about politics or anything. Now it's about, oh, so you're like a real person. I could vibe with you if we were having a beer.
There you go, yeah.
You know?
No
But
bureaucracy.
Exactly. But HH still wants to be seen as, you know,
Yes.
there's a bit of a savior mentality going on there. You know, I've come to save you
Clark Kent.
people. Exactly. You know. But also what he doesn't realize is it's not just about one man has done something. The engine has lots of pieces and working parts to it.
Yeah.
And he should also be able to highlight also other areas of his government that are being successful. And they should be led by them, right? If this ministry is doing well, that ministry should be led by whoever leads the ministry. Shouldn't always fall under the president has this and the president has that. You know, his position is really to oversee. And a CEO is an overseer of all these things. It's not the doer of all the work. You know.
I hear you, and for as long as, I think they'll hire Gina Din, they will hire...
Gina Davis.
Yeah, you know she's hot. What, used to be hot?
You know?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the mentality of how the workflow is not changing. So they'll come for this 1 week training, whatever training they do, pay her thousands of dollars. She'll bugger off because she's done. She's ticked the box and said, I did work. CV changes, grows bigger, isn't it? But for as long as you need to sign off on a press statement to tell people that, oh, actually it's true, this has happened. Your friends are busy now telling you their version of their facts, all right? Now, the truth is relative. And you see, with social media, it depends on who says what first, isn't it? They cannot do that. So that's why they're emotional when it comes to these things. They want to tell you things like people need to know that we have 40,000 employees in the government system now. Yeah, but tell us properly. Don't wind the thing and start condemning the opposition because they're able to tell you, no, actually, they said 40,000, but only 12 have been employed. No, you're not doing the right thing. So for as long as each ministry, each government, quasi-government institution is not channel information properly on their own, the bureaucracy is still there, it's not going to happen. They need to reform how information flows from government to the public. Otherwise, if you tell me 3 days later that, oh, actually that's what we did, I would have already joined the other people, isn't it?
I mean, one of the issues also, so what people forget, it's not a one-hit wonder, it's not one shot, right? It's actually about how many times you reiterate a message.
Yeah.
And this is something that doesn't happen in Zambia.
What you call it? Guerrilla marketing?
No, in what sense? Guerrilla marketing means no money attached to it.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to repeat a message. So within marketing and within sales, right? A customer should hear a message at least 8 times before they're persuaded to want to buy your product. Now, if he wants to, he has to decide what is the key message or what are the key messages that I'm trying to deliver. And those messages should be reiterated in lots of different ways. The reason everyone says one Zambia, one nation is because that has been reiterated a gazillion times. And we all use that, right? It was a UNIP slogan, but I'm watching something from PF. It was UKA. Their little meetings where they were coming together. And one of the guys says, one Zambia, one nation. I'm like, but that's a UNIP slogan that you're using. You don't even know that that's a UNIP slogan.
He does.
But then why is he using it during a PF-UKA meeting?
Because that's a non-partisan slogan.
No, it's a UNIP slogan, which means that's where it originated from.
That, granted, I know
right?
that. But right now, it's an issue of when uniting the nation.
But they're trying to take that and make it theirs.
They know it's not theirs.
But you're missing the point. You can't use it if it's not yours. This is like the Lusaka July conversation that we had, right? You can't do Durban July and try and copy it if you don't know how to do it properly, right? You have to make sure you know what you're doing. You have to make sure you own that. It's like we were saying about the best podcast in Zambia, right?
Yeah.
Who's decided that? If you say that enough times, people will believe you. This must be the best podcast because you keep saying it. And the president has to reiterate his messages so that if that's what he wants to put across, that's when people will understand. That's how marketing works. What's your key message that you want? And then you deliver it continuously until you have the number of sales that you wanted.
I'm going to flip it. When you're in a desperate situation, a dire situation, what's the best way to channel information positively to the people? Right now, we've got electricity problems. A lot of people still have water problems. We've got petrol issues, and we've got milling mill problems. Do you think this is what the government should concentrate on, as opposed to making sure people know exactly what's going on?
But that is what's also going on. What do you mean?
The issue of we are not telling people properly because the other guys are on TikTok channeling out information.
I think there's two different things. You can't focus on what the other guys are doing.
But as you heard from him.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying you shouldn't focus on what the other guys are doing.
Going forward.
There's a story. There's a story around when Apple first came into being. And the story is around Apple versus Microsoft, and it was the Zoom. Remember that Microsoft had developed this Zoom, and this was against the Zoom versus Apple's iPod. And apparently the story goes that some person is saying to this Apple executive, yeah, but the Zoom has this, and it has this, and it has this, and it has this. And he goes, oh, really? That's good. And then he moves on because his focus isn't what Microsoft is doing. Yeah. It's what they're doing. And it doesn't matter what Microsoft do. Exactly. It doesn't matter how wonderful it sounds or how great it seems to sound. They have their strategy, and that's what they stick to. And I think what is a bit of a mistake, this is my interpretation of it. Just this week, I saw a video clip of HH against the cybercrime bill. And the video clip is him talking before he became president. And he's talking about social media platforms. He's like, just leave them alone. Why do people should be allowed to say what they want to say. Then they put in the new clip, and it's exactly to this point. It needs to be policed. Things need to be, right? So he has found, shit, in fact, I was also wrong. He's starting to understand why he has to change his messaging. And that's what this is. That's what this managing is that he's trying to do. He has to manage the messages, which were his messages, and people are saying, we saw what you said. Now he has to also manage his message to go, okay, maybe I did say that, but look at this. This is more important. This is more important. So PR is for distracting us so that we can focus on the good things that he's done rather than those messages which he said, which people are saying, look, you failed. Because this is what leads to the elections, for people to say, you promised this, you didn't deliver. Now he has to focus on, we're 1 year away, how do we deliver so that we get re-elected?
I think the consistency factor is what he's forgetting. You know that the internet, the digital footprint is always going to be followed. So if his people, and this is why I keep saying, he's got the wrong people. In all the areas of communication he's appointed, he's got the wrong people. Chief government spokesperson, strategist, specialist, they are all wrong.
These are outdated terms. You take the UK government, you take the American government, they don't have those roles. Those are really in-facing roles. Like I said, you have to hire an external company to do your out-facing messaging.
Yes.
And you have to accept it.
Yeah, but
Do you think Trump will sign? Trump tweets on the toilet. Trump tweets while he's having a shit, and nobody approves it. Right?
Okay.
His messages just get to go out. Why do you have to have so much bureaucracy, so many layers of approvals? Because you're trying too hard to handle the message.
The control factor has really messed them up, and the fact that they don't want to trust the citizens who put them in power. When you put someone in power, they'll say, We have given you power. What are you giving us?
We've entrusted you with this. Exactly.
So what are you giving us?
Yes.
So when the person who's giving you power is not getting what you promised them, the issue is there will be some chatter. There will be back channeling of information. They will do everything possible to remind you that, boss, this is your video when you are campaigning. Boss, this is your new video now. Okay. There is a mismatch, isn't it? There's a mismatch. And once these videos match, we'll be on good terms. As long as they don't match.
Well, now, the job of a good PR agency is to be able to say, what was said in this video was about this, 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 this. The reason that we're saying this now is because this has changed, this has changed, this has changed. So the message has had to be different. That's what a good PR agency argues.
I'm not going to argue about the work of a PR agency because they are professionals.
But that's what we're talking
So
about. We're
what
talking
I'm
about the hiring of a PR agency. What is she coming to do?
I don't know.
She's coming to realign the messaging that has been out there.
She's definitely going to be on point. My problem, and I'll say it again, fire those people, get the right roles in place, subcontract, look at who can help you internally, who can work with the outside agencies, to now release this information in a proper manner. Yeah, you said that I'll bring down fuel to this much. We don't know exactly why you've done that. We don't know why it hasn't happened. All we know is market forces.
Because fuel prices are not controlled by the president.
Yeah, but the president is going to tell you, I don't control rain. Do you think people are going to be happy with that? When the president tells you, I'm not in charge of rain.
But
people don't want to hear that.
Yes,
people want to say, okay, look.
What I'm saying is the right way, the PR job is to explain why the fuel price has to go up.
That will happen if he fires the current team. All of them.
No, regardless of the existing team, I'm saying that's the job.
100%.
You can't just say, today, prices are going up 3%.
I agree with you 100%. Here's what Trump has done, okay? As much as he's disliked. The president is talking about the Presidential Delivery Unit. When he appointed that team, people are like, what the heck is this? Why are you duplicating work? Trump has brought in, and now some people are now shifting to understand what he's talking about. They say, look, if Vikesh and Elon can save us $1 trillion, I think let's give it a try. He's trying to bring in the Department of Government Efficiency. We have the Presidential Delivery Team. What the heck are they doing? You know what I mean? If these guys know people are not delivering, they could have already flagged it a long time ago, would have had no need to bring in Gina Din. Because they could have simply said, this is taking long.
I can guarantee you that he's looked at some other country and said, oh, they have a PR team. We need a PR team. This is not like some genius idea he had. Everybody is a copycat, you know? So that's all he's doing here. And the hope is this will change. But he has to be clear on what exactly his goals are in bringing her in. Because otherwise they won't do any more than what's already being done.
Okay, before we flip and go to discuss something much more colorful.
We're ending because we're at time.
Yeah. What do you honestly think, given the bureaucratic nature of how government works, particularly in Zambia, how subservient we are to the authority that appoints us, do you honestly think this is going to work?
But that's what I just said. So if it's more of the same, if she's expected to just deliver under the existing circumstances, it's not going to change if her PR firm is expected to deliver under the existing circumstances. No. If she's allowed to not dictate, to suggest and recommend, this is how the new system is going to be, this is the information you must give us, this is what we're going to do with the information, how we're going to proliferate the information out. It's crisis management, right? If there is a crisis, this is how we will manage that crisis on your behalf. If there is something that is forward thinking and we're planning towards something, this is how we're going to do that on your behalf. If they listen to her in that sense, it will change. But if he just says, no, this is how we work, but you have to come in, you can't have more of the same.
This is our template.
Yeah.
Follow it.
Yeah.
Okay, final question. Do you think they should have looked internally first?
No, at the beginning I said it must be an external organization because the internal is restricted by the head of state, and he is the limiting factor in all of this. Get it from an outside perspective, see how they work, and then you utilize their
No,
skills.
I mean internally as in Zambian local company.
Oh.
Yes, I mean a local Zambian company.
Could you name a PR person who's on a par with her?
Well, they could have looked.
No,
I think.
but if you, my
no,
question is,
not
can
off
you
the top
name?
of my head. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if we could confidently say, look, this PR agency has worldwide work that they're doing. Why would you hire her instead of them? Then I can understand it. But not just because you're in the country, you should be saying, we should have been a part of this.
Or don't you think, because they're paying, and this is straight single sourcing, I don't know what they do, because they complain about single sourcing contracts. Do you think it would have been easier because people would have been happier to see an advert going out that we're looking for a PR firm to assist with channeling information?
Look, again, this is old school mentality. This is how Zambia's always operated. Sometimes you just go, we're hiring. Does anyone know of a good firm? You interview, you click, that's it.
Okay.
Why must I now be filling out forms and forms of nonsense? Down to the last three, what are they called?
Shortlist.
Shortlist. And then we'll go with the one that's going to give you a kickback. The problem is this is what's always been the way, right? If I put an extra, we'll choose you.
Yeah. You seem to be very good, so just slide in
Exactly.
4 more zeros and we'll be good.
Exactly.
All right.
You'll win the contract if you give me 3%.
All right. I am done, unless you have something else to add on that.
No, I think we'll see how this unfolds. It'll be interesting to
we shall
keep
follow
an eye on it.
We shall follow it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I'm still maintaining my guns. For as long as the people listed there are still there, forget about it. It won't work.
That the whole system needs to change. But wasn't there the discussion around certain ministries need to be removed? Cybercrime is a big thing. It wasn't something that was around at independence.
No.
So you have to realize that some things are outdated, get rid of them. Some things are new. This is DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah.
That should also be emulated. Where can we look at our government system and say, do we need a minister of religion?
That's crap.
Pick on
It's
that,
out.
right? But do we need those? Why do we need them? What are they achieving? In terms of your ministry, what have you achieved? If you've achieved nothing, then what are you serving here? Remove this ministry.
Religion and Ministry of Chiefs, they've been removed.
Ministry of Chiefs?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's an
The
interesting
ministry looking up, but they're out.
Okay.
But I do agree with your point. Doge is big. Also, the president and his team understanding the nature of what cyber crimes are. They don't need that to fall under the supervision of any small thing. It's a huge thing.
They need to understand what a real cybercrime looks like the impact financially on infrastructure. The impact can be huge. This is not just Mtale Mwanza fighting with whoever about something.
Reporting cyber abuse.
Yeah.
Nah. All right. On that cyber note, which clearly we digress from the discussion regarding the hiring of a PR firm, I would say A+.
Out.
In Espanol.
Oh no.
Hasta who?
I'm feeling out today.
Oh God, this woman. Yo.
Peace.
We're done from Zed101.
Peace.
We're done. Peace.